Welcome back, YouTube. We live back at it on a Thursday night macaroni. Big Tony Jones in the building, y'all. It's Thursday. It's chill. Before I came online, first of all, if y'all haven't seen it already, when we get off, y'all got to watch the Tory Lanez video I just put out. You know what I'm saying? We finally got to see what Wack was talking about in the footage from the prison. You know what I'm saying? So we done got that footage. Check out the video. It was out this morning, earlier this afternoon. Secondly, we might have to A, do another live, or B, I'm gonna have to do a video first thing in the morning. It's gonna be out. We got some new Megan Thee Stallion information. Nah. She going to jail for life. She gonna have some explaining to do when this motherfucker come out. That's all I got to say. She gonna have some real explaining to do. Now, tonight is Thursday. Try and do something different on the channel, y'all. Thursday night, we gonna chill, hip-hop stories, find, some kind of hip-hop documentary to get into, sit back and relax and get ready for the weekend, because a whole bunch of shit that's going on all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie. Had I heard about and gotten the Megan information beforehand, we would have abandoned all of that and went right into that. But I just got it on my table from my people. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we get started, y'all family, I appreciate everybody that tuned in last night, that steady tunes in, you know what I'm saying? East Coast, West Coast, North Side, South Side, because we worldwide, and it's nothing but love. Shout out to all the homegirls in the chat, all my sisters in the chat, right on time, Lady T. All my homegirls, salute to you. Throw a rose in the chat for yourself, from me, coming from me for yourself. All my partners in the chat, all my real partners, my Cadillacers, man, salute to you. Throw a salute emoji in the chat for the player partners, you know what I'm talking about? Lady T, I salute you, man. Always on time. I mean, hey, 2 minutes off today ain't too bad though, but always on time, Lady T. Now, if y'all got the children, please, I would appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't in another room, they ain't around us, because it's about to get some grown folks conversation. We going to Harlem today. I got Jim Jones, I got Max B. We breaking down the legendary beef. It was sticky. Oh my goodness. They still don't like each other. So let's get down to the smoke, y'all. Let's get down to the smoke.
Max B and Jim Jones were two of the biggest rappers from Harlem to blow up in the rap game. But even though they started out cool, ego and jealousy turned them against each other. This is how they went from close homies to starting one of the wildest beefs in rap history. Max B and Jim Jones both grew up in Harlem, which was one of the most dangerous parts of New York at the time. Harlem in the late 80s and 90s was hit hard by the crack epidemic, but it also created tons of hip-hop legends like Big L and Dame Dash. Max B grew up in the Abraham Lincoln Projects in East Harlem. His mom was addicted to crack, and she even served 1.5 years in jail when Max was a kid. So Max was mostly raised by his grandparents in a religious household. Going to church inspired his love for music, and Max started singing in the boys' choir of Harlem. Joining the choir helped him learn how to sing, which is what gave Max B a different style when he hopped in the booth and started rapping. Growing up, Max was also childhood friends with another Harlem legend, Cameron. Cam went to high school at the Manhattan Center for Mathematics with Jim Jones, and that's how Max linked up with him. They shared an interest in music and all wanted to be rappers, but at the same time, they were also heavy in the streets. And before they all blew up, Max B would end up catching the case that put him behind bars before his rap career could ever really take off. In 1997, Max B was arrested for robbery and spent almost 8 years locked up. He was only 18 when he went in and didn't get out until 2005, the same year that Max...
Now, I'm going to pause it right there, but shout out to the Harlem players, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been to Harlem, but the Harlem players, man, well, they just named some real players. Cam, Killer Cam, you know what I'm talking about? What a Damon Dash. You know what I'm saying? Harlem players always fly though. There's one thing I got to say. Them Harlem niggas, man, when Jimmy came on the scene, when Cam came on the scene, they set us in fashion. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna continue because Max B there's gonna be a theme here. Max B can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just can't help himself. And some guys just like going to jail all the time. I know players like that. Like they come out, they're out less time than they are in. Like, they just enjoy being inside with all the inside stories. You know what I mean?
Max went to prison, Cam and Jim Jones, along with their homie Freaky Zeke, started a crew called Dipset. Cam was already well known as a rapper in Harlem after being part of a group called Children of the Corn with Big L, Mace, and Cam's cousin Bloodshed. Children of the Corn broke up after Bloodshed was murdered, so Cam linked up with Jim Jones to start Dipset. Dipset started making waves in the early 2000s after Cam signed a deal with Dame Dash and Jay-Z's group.
If you ask Cam though, because he said Cam linked up with Jim Jones to start Dipset. If you ask Cam, Jim hooked up with him. I mean, but Cam, you have to remember, Cam was Mace's homie. You know what I'm saying? And I was Mace's Crody. So when Mace popped off, Cam had the Horse and Carriage record. You know what I'm saying? Cam was doing his thing. He popped off too. So Jimmy wasn't an artist like that at first. Although Jimmy's my favorite out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even an artist that time yet. You know what I'm saying? I just want to correct that there. Because if Cam was to have heard that shit, that nigga would have popped off. You know, believe it.
Rockefeller Records. Over the next few years, Cam and the rest of the crew went on a major run. In 2002, Cam dropped his classic album, Come Home With Me. They followed that up with the first Dipset album, Diplomatic Immunity. Then Jim Jones dropped his first project called On My Way to Church. So, by the time Max B got out in 05, Dipset was on top of the world. Max wanted to switch up how he moved.
If you remember that time, that was a time where Dipset was running the streets. Like my favorite album was On My Way to Church. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. That album from top to bottom was a classic. You know what I'm saying? Diplomatic Immunity, top to bottom was, there was a couple records I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? But top to bottom was a classic. You know, I remember late night parlaying and getting hot box in the car, getting right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Harlem,
his rap career, so he started kicking it with Cam and the rest of Dipset. Max started doing features and ended up on 2 songs from Jim Jones' second project, Harlem, Diary of a Summer. The next year, Max also did the hook for the Cameron song, You Gotta Love It, which was a diss track about Jay-Z. The wild diss and Max's deep singing voice caught people's attention immediately, and suddenly everyone was talking about Max B. The same year, Max also dropped his first mixtape, $1 Million Baby. Around that time, Jim Jones also started his own label and spin-off group called ByrdGang. Jim Jones invited Max B to be a member, along with another Dipset affiliate named Stack Bundles. Max worked on ByrdGang's first mixtape, MOB, and also appeared on Jim Jones' next mixtape, The 7 Day Theory. Max B not only had the musical talent, but he also had the street cred after serving close to 8 years in prison. So, it seemed like Max B was about to be the next Dipset member to blow up. But just when he was starting to gain momentum, Max caught another case that would eventually take him off the streets for good. On September 29, 2006, Max was arrested and charged with murder and conspiracy to commit robbery after police accused him of being the mastermind in a wild heist gone wrong. In 2005, Max met a woman named Gina Conway.
Now, before they get into the wild heist that's gone wrong, if you're watching right now, you're a real one. You know what I'm talking about? Smash up the like button for a player partner, you know what I'm talking about? And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button because we bring the flavor each and every single night. Now, back to the story. All right, I told y'all, Max can't help himself. Imagine you was locked up when all that shit was going on. And you come home. I told you, some niggas can't help themselves. You come home to, success. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got some money. You know what I mean? You working. Like, it's good. Why do you want to go do some next shit? At that point, you got to walk a straight line and leave the other stuff alone. You know what I'm talking about? That's all I'm saying, man. But now we about to get into this wild. I mean, it's wild, y'all. Shout out to everybody in Harlem, man. If we got anybody in Harlem in the chat, man, throw us a salute emoji in the chat for me one time. You know what I'm talking about?
At a Jim Jones show in Myrtle Beach. Gina was a huge Dipset fan and wanted to get backstage to meet Joel's and Cameron. But when she found out they weren't there, Gina started kicking it with Max B instead. They ended up dating, and Gina moved in with Max in the Bronx, where she worked at a strip club while Max was grinding with his rap career. But the relationship was pretty toxic. Gina was a prostitute, and
first of all, Gina came to see one of the other players and then you snatched the bitch. Yeah, I've been in them situations before. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Back in the day, I've been in them situations before. There's partners that's like that. You know what I'm saying? One of the partners that should be one time back in the day, I ain't even had no idea they picked the bitch off until the niggas told me, hey man, some girl came around here looking for you the other day, but you wasn't here, so you know how the game goes. I'm like, goddamn. I lost it to the OGs, man. What are you gonna say when it's the OGs, man? I'm a little homie. You know what I mean?
Max was hooking up with multiple women at the same time. They kept breaking up, and Gina eventually moved back down south, only for Max to convince her to come back to New York. One time, Gina came back and found Max living with another woman who was pregnant with his baby. Somehow, Gina ended up moving in with Max's brother, Mike, and went back to stripping. The whole story was pretty messed up, but things were about to get even crazier. While Gina was stripping in the club,
She ended up moving in with his brother Mike and started stripping. Yo, what kind of wild? Soap opera ass shit. Yo, this is better than Young and the Restless. I swear to God. I swear to God, man. I swear to God, man. Shit, nigga. It's days of our lives, nigga.
met a dude named Alan J. Plowden. Jay would always pull up to the club in a brand new white Mercedes with tons of money in the back. One night, Jay started talking to Gina after Max blew her off, and they started hanging out. Jay would always take Gina on shopping sprees and spoil her with champagne and new clothes. Gina ended up going with Jay to a Holiday Inn where he was staying with his partner, David Taylor. It turns out that David Taylor and Jay Plowden were running a mortgage and mail fraud scheme, which is why they had so much cash. Gina Conway saw all the cash Jay had in his hotel room, so she stole his key card on the way out and decided to call Max B to plan a robbery. According to Gina, she met up with Max back at the Lincoln Projects in Harlem. Max was mad that she'd been gone, so Gina decided to make him jealous by telling him all about Jay Plowden and all the money he had back at the hotel room. Jay told Gina he was going to the club, so she thought it would give her the perfect opportunity to rob the hotel room while he was gone. According to Gina, Max...
What kind of conniving ass? Shout out Lady T in the chat, man. This girl is lost. This girl, you setting up two play. So now, you obviously were sleeping with Max's brother. I don't know why Max took you back. Now, you in cahoots with another player. Are you about to set him up with Max? I said, yo, this girl must have some real poo-tang that niggas can't resist. You know what I'm saying? They lose their old psyche. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't understand this shit. I don't understand this shit.
B called his cousin, Kelvin Leardham. Max told Gina that if she took Kelvin to the hotel room to take the money, he'd love her forever. So, Gina and Kelvin went back to the Holiday Inn, but when they got there, they found Jay in the room with another woman named Giselle Neves. In another wild twist, Giselle Neves was also there to rob Jay Plowden. Giselle saw Jay in his new Mercedes and planned to go back to his hotel room to steal the keys. But before she had the chance, Gina and Kelvin burst into the room. Kelvin and Gina tied up Jay and Giselle and started trashing the room looking for the...
So, yo, wait a second. Somebody else was already there to rob Kelvin? Oh, Kelvin was gonna have a bad day regardless. What are we talking? What? Shit. Nah.
Cash.
Hold on.
They couldn't find enough money, so Gina demanded Jay call his partner David Taylor. David was sleeping on another floor and came down when Jay called him. As soon as David came into the room, Kelvin pointed a gun in his face and they started fighting. During the struggle, David ended up getting shot in the head and died.
Oh, she brought Kelvin with her to set up Jay and them. Oh, what? Goddamn day. Take it in. There's another girl that was there to rob. Now this girl coming to rob you. So both of the bitches he was fucking was calculating to rob his ass. I said, what kind of country Max sauce? What am I hearing? You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, B's gonna tell her, if you do this shit for me, I'ma love you for life. Oh my God. Oh man. Yo, this poo-tang is legendary. You know what I'm saying? It's legendary.
Gina and Kelvin got away with $30,000 in cash, but it didn't take long for the police to track them down and find out that Gina still had Jay Plowden's laptop. And as soon as they arrested her, Gina started talking. She claimed Kelvin was the one who shot David Taylor and that Max B was the one who set it all up. Max was immediately arrested for murder and robbery charges and held on a $2 million bail, but Max couldn't afford to pay the bail, so he was forced to sit in jail. While he was behind bars, Max's music career continued to go up. Before he went in, he recorded a few tracks for Jim Jones' third album, Hustler's Poem, which dropped in November of '06. Along with his own features, Max also wrote a lot of Jim's verses and hooks, including the lead single, We Fly High. We Fly High ended up being Jim's biggest hit to date and made it to number 5 on the Billboard charts. But while Jim was...
Bro, if y'all remember, when We Fly High came out, hold on, I'm going to make sure my other monitor is matched up. That shit took over everything, boy. That was a colossal hit. So when I found, I didn't even know Max B wrote that shit. But when I watched the docu, and I heard that shit, I said, yo, and I went back and listened to the record. I'm like, this kind of sound like some shit Max B would say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, the boy had some talent now. I'm not gonna lie to you, shit. That was a dope ass hook, man. That record was hot.
Living the life and enjoying the success, Max B was behind bars, fighting for his life. That's where the beef between Max B and Jim Jones really began. Max started doing interviews from jail where he dished Jim for letting him sit in jail. Max claimed that he not only wrote We Fly High, but that he also wrote all of Jim's most popular songs since they first met. Max B also said that Jim Jones owed him credit for all his success, but wouldn't even help pay his bail. Jim later brushed it off in interviews and claimed that Max was over-exaggerating about how much he wrote. While he was locked up, Max B kept feeding the streets and dropped 2 more mixtapes, Public Domain, $1 Million Baby Radio, and Public Domain 2, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. A few months went by, and Max's bail ended up getting dropped to $90,000. That's when Jim Jones came to Max B and offered him a new record deal where Max could use the advance to pay his bail and get out. But the new deal was pretty bad for Max and required him to sign over all his publishing to Jim. Max didn't want to sign the deal, but he also didn't have much of a choice if he wanted to post bail. So Max took the deal and ended up getting out after spending 10 months locked up. But when Max B got out, his relationship with...
That's a grimy deal. You're my partner. You didn't have the bail money to bail me out. But you're going to sign me to a new contract, give me the upfront money, and I got to use that to bail myself out. So then when I come out, I'm still broke, but at least I'm out. But you could have bailed me out regardless. You know what I'm saying? You had the means. And I wrote, if what we know is true, if what Max is saying is true, he wrote the records. You know what I'm saying? He must have did something right for you to even want to re-sign the partner anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion, y'all. You know what I mean? But now Max is in jail because he just can't help himself. And that girl crazy.
Jim didn't get any better. Max was still mad that he was forced into signing a bad deal just to get his freedom back and blamed Jim Jones for taking advantage of him when he was at his lowest point. Not only was he fighting for his life, but about a month before his release, Max B lost his close homie and fellow ByrdGang member, Stack Bundles. On June 11th,
Absolutely right, Lady T. And he signed over the goddamn publishing. What kind of deal is that? What kind of that there is a slave document you about to sign. You about to be a slave, homie. So now all your music ain't even yours. That's some puppet shit, man. That Jimmy wrong for that. If this is true, Jimmy my partner, but Jimmy kind of wrong for that shit. Now, come on, you can't do that, partner.
2007, Stack Bundles was shot and killed in the lobby of the Redfern houses in Far Rockaway, Queens. Max B and Stack Bundles were close right up to his death, and it really affected Max. Jim Jones was working on a new album and wanted Max B to write for him again so he could get another hit, but Max wasn't feeling it and refused to work with Jim, even though he was signed to him. There were also rumors that Jim had a falling out with Cameron and Dipset had broken up, so Max had no reason to be cool with Jim anymore. So Max B distanced himself from Dipset and started his own crew called Gang Green. Around the same time, Max also started hanging out with another New York rapper who had beef with Jim Jones named French Montana. French Montana had a major buzz in New York at the time with his Cocaine City DVD series. French and Max B knew some people in common, but they could never work together before Max got locked up because of Max's affiliations with Jim Jones and the ByrdGang. According to French Montana, his problem started after Jim Jones lied about having them set up. In 2003, French Montana was leaving a recording studio when he got into a shootout that ended with him getting shot in the head. Montana later admitted that someone in his inner circle had set him up and Jim Jones had nothing to do with it.
The person that got me shot drove me to the hospital. So the greatest threat is always from the inside.
But French Montana claims that Jim started going around telling everyone he was involved in a situation just to help his street cred. Montana clapped back with footage of Jim and the rest of Dipset getting jumped in one of his Cocaine City DVDs. Then while Dipset was on tour with Bad Boy Records, Jim Jones...
If you ever seen that footage in the Cocaine DVD back in the day, yo, that motherfucker had Jimmy running. I swear to God, Jimmy was hopping the fence. But I didn't know what's his name there? I forgot the homie's name, man. I didn't know he got shot in his head. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I had no idea. That's crazy as fuck, man.
Got into an altercation with one of Biggie Small's homies, C Gutta. Jim and C Gutta kept running into each other and getting into small fights. But eventually, it led to a massive brawl at Rucker Park in Harlem between Dipset and Junior Mafia. There was footage of Jim Jones and the rest of Dipset getting beat up and run out of Rucker Park. So, French Montana used the footage in Cocaine City, Volume 4, to get back at Jim, which is what first started their beef. When Max B officially left ByrdGang and linked up with French Montana, they both started taking shots at Jim Jones together. Around the same time, Max B dropped a mixtape called Public Domain 3, where he dissed Jim Jones and the rest of Dipset. The cover showed Max B in a graveyard, surrounded by tombstones that said, "Here lies Millie Jim Jones," and "Here lies Vanilli Joel Santana." Milli Vanilli was a pop group from the 90s who got exposed for lip-syncing other people's music. So Max was
Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, right? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Max gotta take time because Joel back in those times was bringing heat. What? Yo, that little homie was bringing heat. Yo, what? Yo, I remember when the Dipset anthem came out, man. Today's a new day. I got the brulee up in the suitcase. Go uptown to Harlem and tell them that I sent you. Yo. I can tell them I'm going to November. I need a couple birds, get abroad, have them sent up. What? Yo, I'm telling you right now, bro. In Toronto, them times, that record, when that played in the club, and that be kicking, dun, 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 it was over. So I don't know what Max B was trying to do them times. I'm not gonna lie to you. Joel's alone, I would have backed off. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would have backed off.
taking shots at Jim Jones and Joel's for stealing songs from him and other members of ByrdGang and trying to pretend like it was their own. There was also a song on the mixtape called Lip Sing, where Max B took shots at Jim and Joel's rapping, "I told them bitches, come and see me. They be acting like it ain't nothing. I know them niggas need me. I was giving them the loot, but them niggas done blew it." Max B and French Montana would also go back and forth with Jim in interviews and videos uploaded to WorldStar. But Jim wasn't the only target. Max also started going after Jim's wife, Chrissy Lampkin, and claimed that she gave him head by the pool in Miami. To add to the disrespect, Max even made a song called "She Touched It in Miami," where he remixed the Jim Jones song "Summer with Miami" and brags about hooking up with his wife, rapping, "She sucked it in Miami, while Big Avell hit it from the back in her fanny. Gangrene family, riding."
Yo. If y'all remember the song "Summer in Miami," that had what the R&B singer name again? God damn, I always forgetting motherfuckers' names, man. It ain't Chris Brown, but the other nigga. I can't remember his name though. But that track was hot. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie. I don't like when artists bring the women into the situation. Cause now it's like, yo, if it's not true, you just started a whole different, you know what I'm saying? And if it is true, you just start a whole different, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you want to, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, when Drake said some shit about, you know what I mean, Kendrick with you know what I mean, that his partner was sleeping with his partner was sleeping with his girl and the child might not be his. That's why Drake is in this position that he's in today. You just, there's certain buttons you don't press. And something, when you press it, you know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all I'm saying, dog.
These bitch niggas, empty up the clip, click clack, hit niggas. Gotti spit bricks, nigga. Peel uncut raw. Pussies talking reckless, but they don't really want a war. Nigga ain't worth my time, so I'm getting at your whore. Dipset affiliate Hell Rel also got dragged into the beat. Max B and French Montana made a video that got uploaded to WorldStar where they went in on Hell Rel for being ugly.
Shout to my mother, baby.
It feel good.
Nigga, the doctor smacked your mother when you was born. Nigga, you're so ugly.
What you talking about?
Hell Rel, a.k.a.
Oh, man, I gotta see this.
Hold on,
man.
A.k.a. Hell No. The bitches see you, they go, ooh, hell no, I'm not fucking with that ugly nigga.
Max even said if he had to choose between having Hell Rel's face and doing 50 years in jail, he'd take the 50 years. Hell Rel clapped back and said that he heard a rumor that Max B and French just got married and offered up $5,000 for the wedding pictures to see Max in the dress. So, at this point, the beef was deeper than just Jim Jones versus Max B, and half of New York was forced to pick sides. Pretty soon, it went from disses to actual violence. In a different video,
Yeah, but you know what though? This is where I'm like, yo, Max B, I'm talking about Hell Rel, ugly and shit. Hell Rel had some good verses, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Jimmy's album, P.O.M.E., the poem album. You know what I'm saying? No, was it that album? Man, one of the albums, man, he was coming with some smoke. You know what I'm saying? There was some records out there, it was coming with some smoke. You know what I mean? Rel back in them times was coming with on some mixtapes with some heat. You know what I'm saying? But nah, you gonna talk about he's ugly and shit. Why are you talking about a man's appearance? you know, I question that now. You know what I'm saying?
Max claims that Jim spotted him in his whip and tried to box him. Jim Jones saw Max B in the parking lot and drove up next to him so he couldn't get out. Jim and his goons tried to attack him, but Max ended up ramming Jim's Bentley so he could get out, then punched Jim in the face. In the video, Max even showed off the dents in his car and pointed out where the fight happened. At one point, Max B and French Montana even went to confront Jim at a studio in Manhattan. They were rolling deep with a huge crew, but ended up getting stopped in the lobby. When they came out of the studio, Max B and French Montana claimed that Jim saw what was happening and called the police. Around the same time, Jim Jones and his crew also pulled up to one of Max B's shows in Brooklyn. A huge fight broke out, and Max started going wild and throwing chairs. Things got so crazy that the cops showed up with dogs, but by that point, Max and Jim were already long gone. So, the beef kept heating up, and it seemed like only a matter of time before someone got...
Yo, this is what was going on in Harlem? Yo, my nigga, I had no idea. Yo, holy shit. Yo, it was personal. Yo, Jimmy bringing the goons back in you. You know what I mean? Catching you, backing you up, you know what I'm saying? Cornering you and shit. Yo, y'all pulling up to the studio with the goons going down. Holy shit. But that's my opinion. If I'm Max B, I'm tight. I'm tight. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I wrote that shit. Nigga, I went to jail. You didn't have $90,000 to bail me out, and then you gonna have the money to bail me out on a fucked up contract though? Come on, man. Any nigga will be tight, dog. Any nigga will be tight. But at the end of the day, too, Max, you put yourself in some fucked up situations, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
seriously hurt or ended up dead. But before anything major went down, Max ended up losing his freedom. In 2008, Max signed a 3-album deal with an indie label called Amalgam Digital, but Max was still technically signed to Jim Jones, so he wasn't allowed to release any real albums. Max still kept it pushing and dropped mixtapes like Coke Wave and Quarantine. Max was also working on his first album or trying to get out of his contract with Jim. But in June 2009, Max was finally sentenced for the robbery and murder of David Taylor. Max B's ex-girlfriend, Gina Conway, had already pled guilty to armed robbery and manslaughter and agreed to testify against Max and Kelvin Laird-Ham. She blames it all on them and said Max had planned the whole thing and that Kelvin was the one who pulled the trigger and killed David Taylor. Max and Kelvin were both found guilty of 9 out of the 11 charges, including felony murder. So even though Max wasn't at the crime scene when the murder happened, he was sentenced to 75 years.
75 years. And even though he wasn't there, but you're the mastermind of the situation. You 75 years? Nah, this is what I'm saying, right? Even though when he was out on bail, Jimmy got him out on bail, gave him a fucked up contract and all that shit, right? You still end up going to jail for this charge. But why would you put yourself in this situation, bro? I'm telling you, I got partners that's like that. They just can't help themselves. It's like they don't want to be free. They don't like being outside. They're not cross-country macking a stack and getting putang. I don't understand these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I don't get them. I don't understand. But damn, I didn't know this is the kind of shit that was going down in Harlem, man. Shout out to all the player partners in Harlem, though.
While Kelvin Laird-Ham was given life plus 35 years. It seemed like everything was over for Max B, but his beef with Jim Jones still didn't end there. Max B won a lawsuit where a judge ruled that Jim Jones no longer had control over Max's music career, so Max was finally able to drop an album. Max B's first studio album, Vigilante Season, finally dropped in March 2011 on Amalgam Digital. Max also scored another win in court after a judge granted him an appeal for his charges, which included a new lawyer and a new trial. In 2013, Max gave an interview from jail where he explained exactly where his beef with Jim Jones all started. Max said that ByrdGang had a seniority system that was inspired by Dipset. Cameron was the leader of Dipset, so Jim Jones and Joel's were under Cam. So when Jim Jones started ByrdGang, he decided he was the boss and that Max B and the rest of the crew were his workers. Instead of running it like a real crew, Jim Jones wanted everyone else to work for him. But Max felt like he was bringing...
Yo, that ByrdGang shit was live. I'm not even gonna lie. That Purple City ByrdGang track, I love that shit. You know what I mean? Jimmy was like, yo, I cop shotties, the noses, I chop them off. What? I cop shotties, the noses, I chop them off. I'm hard body. Lord knows I got the flaws. I'm telling y'all, yo, when that thing dropped, I was like, that's us, that Purple City ByrdGang. I was on that shit, nigga. I was on that shit in a motherfucker. Straight up and down like 6 o'clock.
Too much to the table to be treated like that. Max wrote Jim's biggest hit, We Fly High, and a lot of his other popular songs, but Max wasn't getting a fair cut of the profits. Max even claims that when they did shows, Jim Jones would only pay him $300, even though Jim was easily making 10 to 15 raps. On top of that, Jim had a lot of beef in different cities, which Max got dragged into. Jim's ops would come to
Yo, listen, man, I don't give a goddamn. Why are you watching his pockets, though? I'm like, $300, hey, man. What did you do for the $300 tonight? You got high. We was drinking. We was eating. You ain't paying for shit. You getting Wu-Tang on the side. We living the rock and roll lifestyle. I gave you $300, nigga. Why are you watching what I'm making tonight? That's none of your goddamn business. we ain't homies, dog. We're not partners. We're not partners. I don't even like your ass. Look, I gave you 3 bills in the goddamn first place, nigga. Yo, Jimmy fucked up, though. Jimmy had him like a little bitch. For real. Pissed off, too, goddammit.
shows and throw chairs on stage trying to start drama. Max had to stand up to all the goons and ops.
Hold on, I gotta make sure my monitor's match. Hold on, y'all. This one behind. All right, let's go.
Only for $300. When Max got locked up for the murder, he realized his buzz was going up. But when he came home, Jim still wasn't showing Max any respect. So Max B decided that if Jim wasn't gonna help put him on, he'd have to capitalize on the buzz in a different way, by starting a beef. Max knew rap fans would love it, so he started dissing his former homie. The move worked, and the beef with Jim Jones made him more popular than ever. But while he was locked up, Max was more focused on fighting for his freedom than on continuing the beef with Jim. At first, his appeal was denied, but in 2016, Max caught a lucky break and had his sentence reduced. Max B's legal team argued that his original lawyer, a dude named Gerald Saluti, had a clear conflict of interest when he represented Max in court. Gerald was not only Max's lawyer, but he was also his manager and entertainment lawyer. Max was offered a plea deal for 10 years, but his lawyer Gerald convinced Max to turn the plea deal down and take it to trial. Max B's new legal team argued that the old lawyer Gerald knew that if Max got 10 years, he'd stop making money off his career. But if Max beat the case and came home a legend, he can make Gerald, his lawyer and manager, millions. After reviewing the evidence, a judge agreed to overturn the original conviction. Max was still found guilty and sentenced to 20 years, but he was credited with time served, which meant Max could be home as early as 2025. It seems like his time locked up gave Max a whole new perspective on life.
2025? Yo, Max could be coming home this year. Oh, shit. Do you imagine what's going to happen when Max touches the streets? Sure, if he come out this year, oh, we going to be on top of that, mother. We going to be on top of that. All on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he's going to come out and go straight to the booth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And hopefully him and Jimmy cut that old bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
In a DJ Vlad interview from prison, Max said that his beef with Jim Jones was a long time ago and that they've all grown up and moved past it. Max said they had their issues, but when he comes home, the only thing Max wants to do is focus on making music. In 2020, Jim Jones also squashed his 15-year beef with French Montana. They got on an IG live session together and laughed about all the crazy situations they got into over the years. Jim Jones was also featured on French Montana's song, Too Late, from the Coke Boys 5 album. But apparently, Jim does not have the same energy for Max B. During an interview, Jim was asked if he would ever work with Max B again. Jim immediately shut the question down.
Will you work with Max B when he gets out of jail?
Fuck Max B.
Okay.
Max suck dick. Fuck out of here.
Who knows if the beef between Max B and Jim Jones.
Hey, I'm just saying, right? I think at that point, Jim would be being petty. If Max comes home and we still got a beef, you got to understand, if the contract was fucked up because he sued and he won. And the judge got him released from your clutches. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, come on, man. Anybody will be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? The music industry is a tight industry, man. It's a cutthroat industry, dog. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight for the, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's Thursday night. I mean, we going to the movies. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was Thursday nights, you know what I mean? It was cheap, you know what I'm saying? You could $5 tickets and shit, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if it's like that no more, but that's how it was. It was cheap. You know, on Tuesdays, it was cheap. We had 20 Tuesdays on Tuesdays, you know what I'm saying? And then they fucked up and changed that shit. You know what I mean? But Thursday nights, we going, you know what I mean? So hopefully next week, I'm trying to go to the West Coast, maybe down south. You know what I'm saying? We hit up Harlem this time. Let me know in the comment section where y'all want to go next week. You know what I'm talking about? But if you have not gotten a chance, check out the video I just did with Tory Lanez. We got the whole footage of in the jail when he got stabbed 14 times. Wack wasn't lying. He took off running. Remember when we talked about it? Wack was not lying. Shout out to Wack 100 for always giving us a scoop, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? God damn it. Shout out to Wack. And shout out to everybody tuning in tonight, man. I appreciate y'all. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button because we bring the flavor each and every single night. You know what I'm saying? And smash up the like button for me. Smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. And as always, let me know what country, what state, what province, what street corner, what penthouse in the sky you checking in from. Because we worldwide, baby. And it's nothing but love.